Rakitic in Atleti talks. Liverpool faces Sancho stumbling block. There's worse news for Barca. Injuries are hitting hard, and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. So first off, and to Atletico Madrid, who are apparently already holding talks with Ivan Rakitic from Barcelona. The Croatian midfielder is currently 31, and his contract is going to run out next summer. But you know what that means? That Barcelona will probably look to cash in on him this summer. It's been well documented that the midfielder is unhappy, and in all honesty, he doesn't really look part of Barcelona's future. In fact, anyone over 30 at Barcelona, aside from Lionel Messi, appears to be on the way out, or at least on the decline. Certainly in the midfield positions, with Busquets actually being another one of those over 30s who still has a position. There's Arta, they brought in Frenkie de Jong. They've of course got a few other options from La Masia in that position as well. Rakitic could definitely be on his way out. So getting rid of him seems like a good deal for Barca, but for Atletico, I'm not so sure it's the right kind of deal. Yes, he is a quality player. He's still got a lot to offer. I mean, look at Luka Modric at Real Madrid. He's still doing pretty good, age 34. But if Atletico want to build for the future, they want to take on Barcelona, take on Real Madrid, win La Liga titles, I'm sure they can make better signings than a player who's really kind of in the rubbish heap at Barcelona. Again, not saying he's bad, but Atleti have got better players in that position, and they could look at younger options. Moving on though, and to one hell of a deal if it happens in the summer, and according to recent reports, Sancho will be available in the summer. The Dortmund superstar has been in insane form this season. With 12 goals and 13 assists in 18 Bundesliga appearances, it's obvious why so many clubs are interested in the Englishman. Both clubs at Manchester want him. Manchester City want to bring him back. Barcelona are interested, Real Madrid, Chelsea have been named in there as well as Liverpool. But the only sort of shred of transfer information we have is that Liverpool won't be willing to pay 150 million for Sancho. In all honesty, I don't think any of these clubs will be willing to pay that kind of money. It does sound ridiculous, and this is just the way that football goes, but that kind of money is normally only reserved for the strikers, for the absolute superstars, for the goal getters, because those are the ones that you can easily quantify the payoff that you're paying for and the goals that you're getting back in return. No offense to Jadon Sancho at all, and I know he's going to bring in goals and assists, but it's a little bit too easy to throw him off as having a poor run of form when he doesn't provide those, and that's where the 150 million really gets called into question. Plus, if anyone's going to go for 150 million or more, I can only think of a handful of players that will. Probably Neymar, Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, maybe one or two others. I'm not quite sure Sancho is in that vein just yet. That's a lot to remember. If he does move, and it looks like he will in the summer, to another club, yeah, maybe around 100 million is good for him. He can then progress from there. He's only still 19. Then he'll go on to be a much, much better player, perform this consistently over the next few years, and that's where he'll probably get to the 150 million stage. Of course, the senior João Felix this season, 120 million euros is a hell of a lot of money, and the pressure that's been put on him, well, he hasn't exactly had the best of starts. Of course, he is still young. If you're paying that kind of money for someone like, as I mentioned, Salah, Mane, Neymar, they're into their prime, and you know exactly what you're going to get from them. Anyway, moving on from the transfer talk to some more bad news for Barcelona. Along with the Luis Suarez injury, Ousmane Dembele's return from injury has been hampered, and it looks like he'll be out for a few more weeks. This is exactly, actually, what I was talking about before when you spend a lot of money on a young player. Sometimes it's difficult with the pressure, sometimes they can't find their feet, and sometimes it completely backfires because you've no idea that you've brought in an injury-prone player the likes the world has never seen. Dembele is just constantly injured. He hasn't played since the end of November for his club, and it looks like he really is going to struggle to cement a place in Barcelona's future. That's because the likes of Ansu Fati are coming in, and unbelievably, he's younger than Dembele, and at the moment, he's looking in far better form. In fact, he's actually getting on the pitch. As you mentioned before, Ansu Fati isn't always the answer, and you can't put so much pressure on a youngster, but heading into the Champions League knockout stages, this might just be what happens. We've all seen that Antoine Griezmann's not really performing up to his usual standards. Dembele and Suarez are injured, so that kind of leaves Messi, Fati, and one or two others to take on the attacking burden for Barcelona. And talking of big injuries, it looks like there could be a few more from the Champions League that will be missing, and I'm not suggesting that the Champions League is going to be any worse off, but when some of the bigger superstars are missing, it kind of does make the competition not so attractive. So we've mentioned that Suarez is going to be injured long term. Ousmane Dembele's had an injury setback. There's Raheem Sterling, who came off in Manchester City's loss to Spurs with complaining of a hamstring injury. It'll be a race to see whether or not he'll be fit for the Real Madrid clash. The same thing goes for Neymar, who was injured in the 5-0 victory at the weekend, then went out to celebrate his birthday and now has a mysterious rib injury. I'm not sure how much of that's got to do with the party and whether or not he'll be out for the Champions League game, but these injuries seem to be adding up, and we're not done there. On top of that, you've got Alvaro Morata, who was injured for Atletico Madrid at the weekend and already goal-shy Atletico Madrid. Along with this, we already know that Harry Kane is injured for a long time as well for Spurs, and Sadio Mane's got a hamstring injury, which may see him not return for the first leg of the Atletico game. Basically, what I'm saying is if there's any youngster out there in the Champions League squad, this is your time to shine. So last but not least, we come to a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer and daily news, where Leicester are preparing a huge new contract offer for James Maddison to ward off interest from Manchester United. Giorgio Chiellini is continuing his recovery from injury and has been named in Juventus Champions League squad. If you can believe this next rumour, well, apparently Atletico Madrid and Roma are both interested in taking Jesse Lingard from Manchester United. Highly doubt that's going to happen. And as if Gareth Bale didn't need anything further to distract him off the pitch at Real Madrid, well, he's just set up a new esports team called 11's Esports. So there you have it. There is all the daily news for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on everything. Smash the like button whilst you're there, and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.